Hi guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the MSC Performance Podcast with me, Mark Coulson, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Kevin Green. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you.
Welcome to your first MSC podcast. So today, guys, we're going to find out a little bit more about Kevin's background. So really exciting time for MSC at the moment, where we've got a bit of an influx of new coaches, all of whom have got really strong backgrounds, both in terms of the education and in terms of their work experience. So this is a real good opportunity for maybe you guys, the members, to get a bit more of an idea as to who you're going to be working with and who's going to be kicking your ass, basically. So welcome down, Kevin. Have you sort of found your first week down at MSC?
It's been enjoyable. People here are great. The community is lovely. Yeah, I've been really enjoying it so far. So looking forward to getting to know everyone else as well. I feel like I've hardly met any of the people, and it's like, since the post on the socials, people coming up and like, "Hi, Kevin." I'm like trying to remember different names and stuff. So yeah, so it's been good. I'm enjoying it.
Good. The post have made you a little bit famous. I think.
Yeah.
One of the lads just came in. He's like, "Oh, congratulations on on the signing." And
yeah.
So yeah, cool. Now, I mean, it's a lot of members, obviously, and it takes a little while to get on. Even me, occasionally I'll see someone and I'll be like, "Oh, is that new guy?" And it's like, "Oh, I've been here a few months," and you just sometimes, it just takes a little while before you get around to meeting everyone, really. But yeah, you've been made to feel welcome, and
Definitely.
Good, excellent. So in terms of your background, why don't we start off with in fact, rather than going into that, let's talk about what kind of gave you the passion for strength and conditioning. How did you end up sort of in this position where you're looking to make it a career?
So mine's not like the cliche, like normal people that tend to go in the field like where they've always known. Me, it was actually before I started the masters, just before I started the masters in strength and conditioning. So I did a sports exercise science undergraduate degree, and after I finished, I was looking at like rehabilitation roles. But I think I got one, and then I decided not to go to it. I didn't know why at the time I decided not to go to it.
Didn't feel right.
Yeah, and then my lecturer, Mark, strong name, yeah. He gave me a call, and he was like, because I remember I actually signed up for the strength conditioning masters, but I'd also applied for physiotherapy as well.
Oh, cool.
And I was on the fence of either one, and he just gave me a call. He was like, "Oh, Kevin, are you still interested in like doing the masters in strength and conditioning?" I was like, "I really don't know right now. I don't really know how to do it in life, to be honest with you." And then I think I just spoke to him briefly over the phone about it, and then I went and spoke to my friends, a couple of friends that I feel like they gave me good advice. And they were like, "Kev, what do you think you're more suited for as an individual and as a person?" And I really sat there and I thought, would I enjoy physiotherapy, or would I enjoy strength and conditioning, which is a bit more applied in the sense of working with people in the gym and on the field? And I just sat there and I thought about that maybe for about 2 weeks, and then I picked up the phone, gave Mark a call, and then I was like, "I'm gonna come and do the masters in strength and conditioning." And since then, it's like my passion for it has just gone leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I did not go and do physiotherapy instead, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much.
Yeah.
As I've enjoyed the strength conditioning masters. So yeah.
Awesome.
So September.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's not too similar to my own background. Like, I always knew I wanted to be involved in sport and exercise and health. Like, that was always pretty clear for me. But strength conditioning is not, and coaching strength conditioning is not something that, when you're growing up, you hear about a lot. I think it's not that obvious that it's an applicable career path. And I did my sports science, and then it was when I probably did the masters in strength conditioning that I really got a real passion for it. And it's interesting what you say about the physiotherapy or the strength conditioning as well. And I think there's obviously a massive benefit to physiotherapy, and physios play a huge role in what they do. But like I say, in terms of applying don't know, but applying things that are going to really sort of help people in the long run in terms of exercise, health, movement, strength.
It's a different application. Like obviously physiotherapy, you're applying yourself in the sense of you're helping people recover from injury and all that type of stuff. But strength conditioning is a different type of applying, if that makes sense. In the sense of when you're working with someone, it's more day to day.
Yes.
So you're probably going to see them a lot more often than you're going to if you were a physiotherapist.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's I feel like it's a lot more personable as well, and in the sense of like you literally can watch someone go from a stage where you see they're not really confident in themselves, and then just from working with them, training with them, and giving them that motivation, you can watch them become completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think with the physiotherapy, I think like you say, you're dealing with people who have got injuries, and it's often going to help with that early stage rehab, and then it's like, right, see you later, off you go.
Yeah.
Whereas I think one of the cool things about strength conditioning, I know Max has gone down a similar route where he's done a sports therapy degree and then he's done a master's in strength conditioning, because I think he sort of wanted realised that therapy, sports therapy / physiotherapy could only take that athlete so far. So the ability to actually like that return to play protocol, if you like, and taking people, like I say, from that beginner stage of learning how to lift and be strong and robust and functional, and taking that person on to, through the levels is really beneficial. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So whereabouts are you with the masters now?
So we have just submitted our last 2 assignments, and then we've just got the dissertation left, which is due in September. I need to be started as soon as possible.
I thought you're working. I thought you're working hard.
To be fair, I've had my test results from that for a long time. It's just been sitting there because we've had the other modules and stuff like that. So I think the idea was finish everything first, and then you get like a 3-month period between June and 3-4 months period between June and September to get the station done. So yeah. Cool. Just need to start on it now.
Yeah. And what's the dissertation on?
So my dissertation, I'll be looking at the isometric mid-back pull. Very long words. And then the counter movement jump, and looking if it is a good performance indicator for judo athletes. So mainly elite judo athletes, and then also trying to normalize that data as well, so that they can have like a standard. So judo normally have a few tests where they have it as like a standard. So the people that are looking, maybe they're an England squad, they want to get up to the British Judo elite level, they can have those standards to hit. So I'm also trying to try it like as a secondary aim to try and create like normative data, so they can use that as a standard. Also, if they want to,
they can see where they're at. So
yeah. But the first thing is establishing if it's a good indicator. If it is a good indicator, then I can use that indicator. If it's not beneficial to use.
Yeah. But if it's not, it's still learning the process of gathering data, doing research, publishing results. So it's interesting stuff. Yeah. What level are the judo guys at? Well, obviously it's British Judo, but are they young athletes? Are they or they're seniors? Seniors.
Yeah. But you do have a few that come in to the centre and they train with them.
Yeah.
But all the testing we've done has been on the seniors.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. What do you think? What are your predictions for the results?
I think that it is and it isn't.
Okay.
So
such a sports science answer, isn't it? It depends.
Because mid-thigh pull is like it's a static. It's not really static. There's movement involved, but it's very stationary. And then in judo, there's a lot of throwing. So
it's dynamic.
It's very dynamic. So yes, it can give you an indicator of their capabilities to generate force, but at the same time, it might not be that great in the sense of they can generate force, but can they generate that same force while throwing someone?
Sure.
Their shoulders, you get what I mean? So, and then the counter movement jump, that one, there's a lot of research on that one. So I think that one's going to be useful in that sense. So it's yes and no.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, like for our listeners, yeah, basically like your isometric pull is as you say static. You're pulling the bar up against the let's say the rig, the safety bars on the rig. So there's no movement, but you're producing force in that in that position. And but the argument you're saying is that's great if you're strong there, but judo is dynamic. It's more movement based,
specific angles that they're going to be able to. Like if we were able
the angles important isometrics, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you're doing a mid-fight pull, you're very much the bar's in front of you and you're pulling this way. If you're throwing someone in judo, you're not going to be throwing necessarily.
It's rotational potentially.
There's a lot of rotation. There's a way to maybe, I don't know, train them in that aspect isometrically in the angles that they're going to be throwing. Then yes, I think that would be beneficial.
Yeah.
But
I think in terms of training isometric strength, the research is showing sort of a certain degree each way, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of if you're mid-thigh pull, you can improve, it's a good test of strength, but you can also train the strength through that motion, and you see benefits 15, 20 degrees either way, but not necessarily across the whole range of movement. So I'm interested myself to see what the results come back like. So that's interesting stuff. What are do you know what the key performance indicators are for, like, let's say I'm pushing for the British Judo squad, and I want my strength conditioning, my gym numbers to be a certain level. What are the standards?
Yeah, so this is the problem that we were having. So while I was doing the placement, there's 4 of us, all having a big dilemma right now. Because in judo, there's different weight classes. It's very difficult to say this is the standard. Because again, the different weight classes. So what we're saying that would have to be done, which they haven't done, is have a standard for each weight class.
Yes.
And that would take a very long time to do that because they'd have to test every 70 kg fighter they have, male and female, and then create a standard for them, So I don't know if it's something that they'll be wanting to do in the future. Still something that we're trying to wrap our heads around. Like, are we going to try and do it based on weight category, or we're just going to give an overall standard? But I don't know if that would apply very well. So
that's a really good point. I mean, like if you look at, I know for example, it's really niche sport, but like in British bobsleigh, I think the standard for like the males is 140 power clean, 140 kilo power clean. But that's a little bit more accurate and fair because most of your bobsleigh guys are going to be between 90 and 96 kilos. Like they're going to be in that weight category. There's certain performance indicators in rugby as well, but it's a lot looser because you do get, based on position, you do get you can have some guys that are like 80 kilo, 85 kilos, and some that are 120, 130 kilo. And then similar in judo, like I say, with the weight categories, it's not, if you're saying, well, 100 kilo bench press is the standard, well, if you're
a 60 kg,
if you're a 60 kg athlete, like that's a hell of a bench press. And if you're, 120 kilo athlete, 100 kilos should be quite comfortable. So that's interesting. Maybe something you can influence in the future with by setting up some new standards and new KPIs.
That was the aim, because we're all doing. There's 4 of us, so we're all doing research on judo, but we're not all doing the same. So we've got the same tests, but we're all looking at different aspects of it.
Yeah.
So I think when it all comes together collectively, it'll be able to influence and help in that way. One of the other things we're looking at, what I was looking at that was quite difficult as well, is there's a bias towards the lighter guys when it comes to the counting jump as well. So it's because obviously lighter guys are generally going to jump higher.
Yes.
Than them. So while we're on the placement, we're also trying to rack our brains in terms of trying to find a day-to-day, because when we, not day-to-day, but if you show results to a big guy and then he's obviously not hitting the heights that small guys get, that's going to affect motivation levels.
Yes.
So we're also trying to look at that and say, okay, can we find a variable within the counting jump? So we're doing it on hooking dynamics, force platforms.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So we're just looking through the different variables that it gives. Trying to find one that is more fair, in that sense.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's another aspect of it. Also, there's so many different stuff that I'm thinking about that
It's good. It's good. It's
talk about in there. So.
Yeah, it's important stuff as well because you're going to get like some guys slipping through the net because they're not hitting certain gym tests, and it's like, well, if the tests aren't accurate or fair or anything like that, then you could be potentially letting some talent slip through the net. Yeah,
and then judo is very, very technique. There's a lot of technique in there.
Yes.
But speaking to some of like the head, they're very focused on they need to be physically strong as well. But then you can be as physically strong as you want, but if you can't apply the judo techniques, you're not going to win.
Yeah,
you're not going to win.
You need to be good at the sport.
You need to be good at the sport first as well. So there's that aspect. So you might have someone that is not necessarily physically strong, but they're great technically. Judo, you wouldn't get rid of that talent just because of their test results. Sure, not that great. That's actually someone that you look to say, oh, you know what, we've got a great area for improvement.
Yeah. So, as well, I think you can, if you've got someone who's good at the sport, not so good at the gym, not hitting those key performance indicators, then that's where the coaching staff have got to trust the strength conditioning staff to, that's your job then to try and get that person up as close as you can to those points. And you'd rather be in that position than someone who's super strong, but just technically not great at the sport. Because that's obviously can be a little bit harder to train. So at those kind of levels anyway, when we're talking at British level. So yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, testing is an interesting one. I always wonder about like the NFL combine test as well. And like
I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like
I'm the same.
There's so many different guys there. You got a quarterback that's having to do the bench. I don't even know what the weight is.
I think it's 100 kilos. Max reps. Max reps.
Yeah.
Which again, in terms of, if you're talking about American football, I believe the average play is about 4 seconds. So, if you've got one of your big, 140 kilo defensive linemen benching 100 kilos for 30 reps, well, so what? Like, what does that tell us? It doesn't really tell us a lot. So, and like say, it's you can have your quarterback guys in there who, some modern day quarterbacks are super athletic. More the old school, definitely not. Tom Brady, like as an example, absolutely woeful in his combine, and then goes on to be arguably the greatest of all time. You'd think for somewhere like America, where the S&C is so hot, they're so good on it, why they haven't updated that. It's
that's probably to do with tradition.
Tradition,
they've always done it, so to change it, I think caused a lot of uproar. So.
For sure, and they like to televise it as well. It's sort of make big deal, it's a big deal watching the combine, isn't it? So but some of those guys, like some of the tests that are good, like the sort of dashes and things like that. You get some big 140 kilo guys running
it's crazy,
faster than I don't know, any your rugby wingers. It's absolute freaks of nature. It's super impressive. So that's cool. So got to ask a question. What made you sort of apply to come and work at MSC?
It's actually there's a reason behind it. So one of my other placements was Birmingham City Football Club, and also working at British Judo as well, made me realise that though I do enjoy working with athletes, I don't think I enjoy the aspect of there's like a lack of freedom that you get. The working hours sometimes can be very sporadic, so you don't really know what you're doing, and then working weekends, you really don't know what you're going to work. And then I also, like I said before, I realized I really enjoyed the personal aspect to it as well, of working with your everyday person as well. So I think it just made me realize, do I really want to work in specifically elite sport, or can I find something for a club, or could I find something where it has like a combination? And then when I was on LinkedIn, I was just looking at it, and then I saw MSC, and I was like, that looks nice. And then I just found some more on the website.
Did a bit of stalking.
Yeah, did a bit of stalking. Creeping on the website. Yeah. Looked up some of the coaches. So I saw you, I saw Sonia as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, these people are amazing. Like, I would love to work here. And then I actually found you guys before the job advertisement came up.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So then, and the job advertisement came up, so I was like,
it's meant to be.
yeah.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, so I applied for that. So I think I like the way you guys do things as well. So the personal aspect to it, even the reviews that people have left and stuff like that. So the fact that you also have a combination of world-class athletes, world-class coaches as well here, and then you have the everyday person that can come in and just really get stuck in as well. I just thought it was perfect.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and it's, anyone listening on Spotify, I'm just passing Kevin a tenner under the table for the kind words. Interesting you say about the I had a similar dilemma, I think, like back in my day. Whereas, like, do you want to go work for clubs, or do you want to do more work with public and individuals? And I think you hit the nail on the head, which is like the cool thing about working here at MSC, or one of the cool things is you can do both. Like you could, like we have got some like genuine world-class athletes, and then we've got like most we have maybe 10%, 15% elite athletes, and the rest the general public. Even with that general public, there's a very wide scale of ability levels. We do take on like beginners. Probably our main market is kind of like late beginner, early intermediate, but we have like beginners who have never done any lifting before. They come into the barbell club, they learn how to do the basics, right through to like your general pop, but like are strong enough and good enough to be elite athletes. Pretty much like if you look at like Ricardo's and like Metcalf now, like good name, could name dozens, but these guys are like proper like awesome athletes, even though they've got the normal jobs, and they're coming in to train as a passion, but they're not like necessarily doing like professional sport. And it's one of the things I really like about here is that variability, and that you can go speak to Jazz, who's competing in the Commonwealth Games, and like how's his training going, sort of any advice or tips you can give him, and then like I said, right through the spectrum to complete beginners, and as well as me, like teaching someone that getting those basic movements taught and learned, and then also within that getting health and well-being and exercise and gym work into their lives is so rewarding. The average person who has maybe been a little bit scared to lift weights, not really knowing the benefits, they're a bit sporadic with their training. They'll do a few weeks, they'll miss a few months, they'll do a few weeks, miss a few months. Whereas obviously what we're trying to do here is get them into the routine where it's sensible and sustainable training that they can then put into life, as part of their life. The guys you speak to, like they've got it, in the routine of like, right, I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday barbell. Like that's my gym work. I'll try and do my walking. I've got my job, I've got my kids, I've got whatever. Some guys training, more, some guys training less. But the thing is, like, to get into a position where they enjoy their training, they're passionate about it, and it becomes a part of the routine. That was a big thing for us when we started up. Was like, why do people do these 6-week, blasts, 8-week blasts, and then drop off? And we found it's really because of it's about consistency and sustainability, and those things come from enjoying your training, having good guidance, good coaching, and that's where we can come in and make a difference. And obviously, the member of the client has to obviously meet you halfway and they have to put the work in. But part of our job is not just saying, right, here's a deadlift, we're going to coach you it. It's like putting in your program, monitoring the amount of weight they're lifting, the amount of reps they're doing, keeping in touch, how are you getting on week to week, is it too much, is it too little? It has to be enjoyable, it has to be sustainable. That's the key. I mean, I think it's one of the cool things here is, like I say, working with that wide range of athletes and different sports as well. And that's the thing, you get, you work with a rugby club or a football club, like you're just working with those guys, which is fine. But the cool thing that you get to do in somewhere like this is you get to do your weightlifters, your powerlifters, your rugby players, your footballers, your sprinters, your pole vaulters, the kids. It's a real cool wide range, and for me personally, that keeps it really kind of interesting. No, awesome. What are you? So that was the reasons for joining MSC. Are you excited to look to bring your own expertise and style into it? Do you see what kind of impact and etc. would you like to bring to MSC?
Yeah, so I think the area I tend to, I feel that I more specialize is speed, power, agility type of stuff. So I would like in the future, just to, how you hold workshops and that type of stuff. So maybe in the future, get involved with that. Even have maybe some sprinters come in as well. They can get some training, get some strength and conditioning here. Yeah, my background is in sprinting as well. So yeah, I think that's what I'd like to bring in as well.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Excellent. I mean, it's something we'd like to do more of. MSC is the educational side of it. And I say, you're right. We've hosted workshops before, powerlifting workshops. I've done a weightlifting one before, been really popular. So, yeah, that's something we'd like to get back into. And yeah, I think that your speed, power, agility workshops would be really popular, really. So, for general pop, also your field athletes and things like that, would be really cool. I think. Yeah, that's probably a nice little intro for to get you on board. We're really excited to have you on board. As I say, it's exciting times at MSC with increasing the size of the squad and increasing the area of expertise. So what about your own training at the moment?
So I think I told you, currently got injured knee, so I haven't been getting any really squatting motions. But one thing that I've been trying, I want to get involved with, I was telling you, powerlifting. I just want to try it out, see how it goes. Currently I've just been benching, deadlifting. That's pain free. So once I'm fully recovered, I want to probably create myself a program to help with youth as well. If there's an area. Just so I can start getting into it and maybe go to a comp in the next couple of months.
Awesome. Cool. That'd be good. You're in the right place for it. And, we're normally sending good sized squads to competitions and things like that. So something to get on. Happy days. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Thanks for your time, Kevin. And to all our members, you'll see plenty of Kevin around. He's going to be running some barbell clubs and some metcons. And if you haven't met him yet, come and say hello. Give him a nice warm MSC welcome. And fantastic. We'll catch you next time. Cheers, David.